Sometimes in life, what we need is friends. If we look back at 5 years ago, Bolaven Farms was built by a group of friends. Today, it is critical for the farm to reach out to more friends who care and who share that same vision. This is our strategy. This is the Friends of Bolaven Farms strategy. Well, a very good afternoon to one and all. Allow me to introduce our team. My name is Andy, and my colleagues are Ekjun, Grace, and Marcus. And we are from Genesis Consulting. Well, let's take a look at the value proposition that we have today. Now, Bolaven Farms is a socially conscious coffee producer, and it has a $4 million investment that is yet to break even. And also, it has a recent partnership with Sodexo. There are two key issues that we would like to address today. First, how do we develop the development process for graduating farmers? How can we create this development process for our Lao farmers so that they can be successful themselves in future? And secondly, once we build these farms, how do we find consumers who are willing to buy our coffee at premium price? With the Friends of Bolaven Farm strategy, we will address these key issues to reach where we want to be. That is, to create a unique and sustainable competitive advantage for our company with an integrated business plan, and at the same time, we aim to break even by 2015. This is our value proposition. Let us walk you through our situation analysis.
Now, it is clear that for Bolaven Farms today, our objective is to provide high-quality coffee to the world and at the same time to alleviate poverty among the Laos coffee farmers. Now, looking at the key issues that complicate this objective, firstly, as my colleague mentioned earlier, is the development process that we have in place for graduating farmers. The second issue today is to find customers who are willing to pay the premium price for Bolaven Farm coffee. Now, in terms of the development process for farmers, there are three areas in which there are several complications to this development process for our graduating farmers. Firstly, our attempt to provide $5,000 loans to the farmers is something which we feel is not currently feasible due to the fact that these farmers still are relatively limited in terms of their ability to reinvest and maximize this $5,000 and manage it well.
So what we say is that if you look at three key partners who can help them address this issue, these friends who will care about the Bolaven farmers together with the Bolaven farm will be better able to address this issue of the development of Bolaven farmers. So let's look at the Laos government. Why is this important? Firstly, because in Laos, the system of law there only allows you to pass legal title in land either through inheritance or if the government passes it over to you. So it's very difficult for farmers to buy title to land from other farmers. So this is really an issue that the farmers have to deal with, because not all of our graduates may have land of their own to return to, or they may not be able to rent it from people who already own land. So there are two ways that they can do this with the government. Now, they can either engage them normally as a normal customer, which is to purchase more land from the government, which is not only costly, but does not really deepen the relationship with the Laos government. Or they could try and incorporate the government as a stakeholder in the land investments for Bolaven Farm. So the government, for example, could have an interest in the land. They could perhaps be open to looking at a more rental interest, for example. And this, of course, would be at a rate that will be affordable for the Bolaven farmers simply because it's in government interest to promote the growth of these communities. More importantly, how do you negotiate with the government such that you can sell such a point? Well, we think that in order to put Vietnam on the map, it's very important they have an international brand. And seeing as how there's a lot of contacts and relationships that Bolaven Farm has at his disposal, they can leverage on this to tell the government that by supporting us, you're building a brand for Vietnam that can be sold at international scenes.
Thirdly, we also want to build ultimately a premium brand image that is associated to the Bolaven beans. And how we're going to do that, we're going to share with you further. Now, looking at synergistic partners or friends who share, we look at Starbucks itself. It is a mature coffee roaster and retailer with a very strong distribution network. It also has a premium image with a strong CSR focus, especially in terms of environmental sustainability and social consciousness. And if we look at where Bolaven Farms is right now, Bolaven Farm is a Lao coffee that has a cost. It is awaiting certifications for organic and fair trade coffee, and at the same time, it has a story behind these coffee beans that are aligning with what Starbucks is looking for. So there is a synergistic relationship to create a coffee with a cost. So what we can do is to create the Bolaven beans at Starbucks. How do we do that? Starbucks introduces a daily roast of coffee in their stores. So what we can do is, when they introduce this daily roast of coffee, they actually have an educational platform where they introduce to the consumers where this coffee comes from, how is this coffee produced. So this is one way we can reach out to our consumers and raise awareness of Bolaven Farms' cause. And thirdly, the education that is not just on Starbucks store itself will also be extended to their environmental sustainability report that is annually produced by the company. So this synergistic relations between Starbucks as a friend who share and Bolavin Farms is one that can help to build our network of these distribution channels. And lastly, we can also introduce Bolavin beans in terms of Bolavin roasted beans that can be sold in Starbucks. Now, Bolavin Farms itself has a mission of sharing the hope and joy of the Lao farmers itself. So what we can also introduce is a series of the Bolavin beans at Starbucks and sell them and package them in a way that it has a story of hope and joy to these consumers. So the drinking coffee experience at Starbucks and drinking coffee experience of Bolavin beans is more than just a coffee experience.
To know the farmer's needs and to know the farmer's satisfaction level. And all in all, in the big picture, this is our implementation schedule. And we want to have a constant effort, lobbying efforts with the Laos government. And for initial start, we also hope to have relationships with different financing firms, such as HSBC, because ultimately we want to have capital to actually acquire the land so that we can rent out to the different farmers eventually. Next, we also want to build on our graduate management program to ensure sustainability of our graduates. For our certification process, there must be this initial period that we're trying to meet the standards of our fair trade practices certification. And of course, we must have this continual tie with Starbucks. Initially, we have this negotiation process with Starbucks. We hopefully hope to have a potential partnership with Starbucks itself in the long run. And lastly, we have to continuously build on our relationships with the different trade partners and of course the different financing institutions such as the banks and of course the MFIs.
So, how many phone calls do you think Starbucks gets every day? What? What's the name of your consulting firm again? And what's the name of your company?
Bolavin Farms.
Okay. And do you think Starbucks care about your consulting company or your farm? I'm saying it because I think that I like your friend strategy. I'm just not quite sure that who you think are your friends will be your friends. Okay, so I can see three friends here. One is the Laos government. Okay, very big government, and you're a few guys with $4 million of capital. Okay, so I'm not sure for the government, a little operation with $4 million capital. I'm not sure what. Have you ever talked to the government? I mean, it's not the Singapore government. It's not any better than Hong Kong. Capital, you can say in line. It might be 3 years later. You go to talk to, right? So government. Why would they care about this really tiny company, right? The second one is HSBC. Who wants a loan from HSBC? Everyone raise your hand. Everyone can raise their hand. Okay. So now again, who are you? A company that's losing money for 4 years already, not much capital, having a big problem with the business strategy right now. Need a Genesis consulting to go help them. So HSBC is not in the business of losing money to social enterprise with a heart, but with a money-losing proposition, right? So I'm not quite sure that is your friend. And certainly Starbucks, again, right? With all the friends that they can have today, why would they want to be your friend? So I like your friend strategy. I'm not quite sure that's why they want to be your friend.
Well, maybe we'll answer it step by step. It's a rather big question. Firstly, recently we've acquired a partnership with Sodexo, and that again gives us great credibility because Sodexo is one of the leading players in the catering and food services industry. And in our partnership agreement with Sodexo, they actually agreed to help to raise our brand awareness. And that does give us a slight boost, although we do agree that we are a really small company, a really small player, and a very new entrant in this market. So we do accept that some of these people that we hope to partner with may be rather ambitious, but we're hoping that the Sodexo partnership will be a stepping stone. Secondly, in terms of Starbucks, we do agree that Starbucks may not be immediately eager to partner with us, but we believe that if negotiations fail right now, our partnership with Sodexo, which will help us to build brand awareness in the near future, will allow us to re-enter into negotiation agreements with Starbucks, perhaps in 5 years' time, when we have reaped a better brand image with stronger brand equity, and perhaps our farmers are better trained and we've achieved certification in organic and fair trade. So we are open to the idea that some of these ambitious plans that we have may not work out immediately, but a lot of this also takes place over a long run, and we really need to adopt a wait-and-see attitude because we are a small player and we are at the mercy of these perhaps bigger friends.
So I guess that answers the questions with regards to Starbucks, and I think I'll answer the question with regards to the government. Yes, there is going to be some difficulty and delay, simply because all of these friends are not friends yet. as acquaintances, we would have to make the extra effort to get to know them and let them know us. Now, in terms of commitment, although it's 4 million, but I think they've committed to purchasing land, actual land, and they have gone into talks with the government before. And there was a proposal that was given, and the government grasped it. So there has been some prior contact. So it's not a complete stranger. They are acquaintances already. So we're trying to say we can take this step further. And I suppose with the amount of investment they're putting in, not just to train the farmers, but to actually get university graduates from the Laotian University to come in and also to learn how to manage this company, it shows that there's more commitment into this measure, and we think that could be a very good negotiating factor for them.
In terms of financial institutions, we do see a trend nowadays that financial institutions are putting more money into social enterprises. And of course, social enterprises which has potential profit forecast in the next few years. We also note that companies nowadays want to have this corporate social responsibility, and this actually ties hand in hand together with different financial institutions. And for our company itself, it does show that we have potential profit forecast in the future if our Starbucks relationship do come into